All right, guys, this problem says find the absolute max and min of the following function on the closed interval 0 and 1/6. All right, so I have the function f of x is equal to cosine of pi x. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the derivative of the function. However, notice I'm going to have to use the chain rule because pi is a coefficient. So cosine of pi x. So I'm going to just put that in parentheses. The derivative of cosine is negative sine, and we're going to leave pi of x alone, and then we have to take the derivative of pi x. Well, the derivative of pi x would just be pi. So I have negative sine of pi x pi, and then I'm just going to simply put the pi out in front. So negative pi sine of pi x. So there's my derivative. Now, notice that this derivative is defined, so there's no place where it will be undefined, but I do need to see for a critical number where it's equal to 0. So I'm just going to set this equal to 0, and I notice that I can't factor out that pi, right, because that pi is with that sine of pi x. But what I can do is I can divide by negative pi, and so then that'll leave me sine of pi x is equal to 0. And then the way that I'm going to get this pi x by itself is I need to do the inverse of sine. So I'm going to do pi x sine inverse of 0. And so the question is, where is sine 0? Well, sine is actually 0 at a couple of different places. Sine is 0 at 0. Sine is 0 at pi. Sine is 0 at 2 pi. Okay, and you could actually keep on going, but we're going to realize that you don't have to eventually. Now to solve this for x, I'm going to divide by pi. And then notice what's going to happen. I'm going to get x is equal to 0, 1, and 2, and it could keep on going. But the reason why I stopped is, remember, the original interval was between 0 and 1/6. Well, 1 and 2 are obviously outside of that interval, so we don't even have to test those values. And then also notice that 0 is one of your endpoints. So for this one, you really only have to test, even though 0 is a critical number, you only have to test f of 0 and f of 1/6. So let's do 0 first. If I plug in 0 into the original function now, not the derivative, I have cosine of pi times 0, so that would just be cosine of 0, and cosine at 0 is 1. And then now let's try 1/6, so cosine of pi times 1/6, so cosine of pi over 6. Well, cosine at pi over 6 is the square root of 3 over 2. So now look at your values. The biggest number, which in this case would be the 1, that would be my absolute max. So my absolute max is at the point 0, 1. And then my absolute min would be the lower number. And that is a small number. That's like 0.8. So this is the absolute min. It would be at 1/6, comma, square root of 3 over 2. And so that would be my absolute max and my absolute min.